The Russian Victory Day Parade, held on May 9th. It commemorates the victory of the Soviet Union over the Nazi Germany in World War II. It marks the end of the front of the war. It's also known as the Great Patriotic War in Russia. The parade is a major event in Russia, and it's held with a large military display in Red Square, and they're marching down there. They got their bombs and their guns and their weapons. It's a very huge day. And the reason for all this is because they defeated the Nazis. They defeated them. They took them out. And they had help from the rest of the world pitching in, most of it pitching in and helping them out. And the Nazis, they promoted Aryan racial superiority, anti-Semitism, and the concept of a totalitarian state. So they rejected democracy, socialism, and liberalism, any of that. The term Nazi is used colloquially to describe individuals or groups with authoritarian or racist or extremist views, though we shouldn't oversimplify the historical context of it. In a nutshell, it's one race or ideology is superior over all others and moving toward a world where everyone is the same. There's no more free people in the world at that point, really. We can just call mankind not people but sheeple, whose master's hands they lick under the dinner table for the sake of the dirty bread bites that they might choose to toss them on the floor. Kind of like that, just a dog. But the leader's name, they called him the Führer of that specific group of Nazis, was Adolf Hitler, who said, "We are the superior being." And his followers carried out that thought process for him. He was in charge of an army that reaped havoc and mayhem on millions and millions of people. The Nazis' goals included the establishment of a strong central government based on racial purity. But remember, this all started with just an idea. It didn't happen overnight. And just recently, that thing that triggered everybody is we heard another person who has control over a military say that exact same thing. And within a couple days, those words took form and manifested, taking its toll on 26 innocent people. And that's just scratching the surface of where this could have led or went to. And just as Russia and most of the world gathered to defeat Hitler and the Nazis, India sacrificed themselves to avenge the victims of the heinous act in Pahalgam, eliminating the spread of any malicious acts of hate and or violence. The Nazis' goals included the establishment of a strong central government based on racial purity. And so did this guy's. So today, with Jaishankar being in Russia, and Russia was the first ones to jump out and help. Thank you for that, Russia. But today, with Jaishankar celebrating Victory Day with Vladimir Putin, he had this to say.
It's a great pleasure to join you all on this occasion to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory in the war over fascism in 1945. It is hard to overstate the importance of such a momentous event, one that laid the foundation for the current world order. The contribution that Indians made to this defining event is well known. It ranges from the Burma, North Africa, and Italy campaigns to the Persian corridor to the Soviet Union and the hump over the Himalayas. I'm glad today, Ambassador, to see that the Russian embassy specifically recognizes that effort through a plaque. In the years that have passed, much has changed. As decolonization gathered pace, the membership of the United Nations has quadrupled. There has been a significant rebalancing of the global economy. The world has begun to return to its natural diversity and pluralism. Today, we strive to create a more equal and contemporary global system, especially through reformed multilateralism. India hopes that this would be done through deeper international cooperation inspired by the manner in which the world came together 8 decades ago. Excellencies, friends, we also meet at a time when India is confronting the challenge of terrorism, one that is a shared threat to the international community. I thank those who have expressed solidarity with us and understand the resolute response that is underway. Friends, today is an occasion for hope and optimism, as also for remembrance, underpinned by the conviction that international cooperation is even more important than ever before. It is an endorsement of our diplomatic endeavors, be they bilateral, regional, or multilateral. I take this opportunity to wish you all the very best in the times ahead, and I thank you, Ambassadors, Excellencies, for the privilege and the invitation today to join you all at this celebration. Once again, I thank you for your attention.
So a lot of people will look at that or hear it and say, wow, that was just an average, okay, speech. But knowing the time of this, the strategy that he used with those words, a day of remembrance underpinned by conviction that requires international cooperation. Now, who else was there? I'll tell you who was there. First of all, Russia and Putin, but China and Xi. That was literally a dagger to China, because they weren't helping. They helped Pakistan. Russia jumped in because they were being convicted that this was happening to one of their neighbors, one of their friends, and they jumped in and said, no more. We're going to help you out as much as we can. But China was there too. That bringing the BRICS, if you think about the BRICS in this part, this kind of shifts the global, which he also talked about was the rebalancing of the global economy, shifting things, where China was seen as the lead in this. But now we're looking at BRICS is coming up with India and Russia are now taking the lead in the BRICS here. And China is now taking a back seat, because now we have BRICS as Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. South Africa, no contender in this. Brazil, allied with India. Russia, allied with India. So we got India, Russia, and Brazil, top three. China is pretty much by themselves going solo on this. And they want to bring Pakistan into the BRICS. Now, what's that say to Pakistan? More than likely, you're going to have to sit this one out, because now India and Russia and Brazil, who is also an ally to India, is taking the helm. And China is now struggling to catch where they fit back into this global economy. And he said the way he tied in terrorism, he ties it into where it's another shared threat. Just as the Nazis were back in the day. And I agree. I mean, Jaishankar, I know it sounded like a very simple speech, but the way he was pivoting his words in there and directing them here and hitting there and hitting there in all areas. I mean, does Jaishankar or Modi, do they ever stop to use the bathroom? I mean, they're constantly so focused on moving forward. Even Modi the other day, right after the retaliation right after the day of Operation Sindoor, the next day he's talking about we're going to space and our exploration in the future, and we're going to space and we're going to be doing all these fantastic things in space, talking about their program. And I'm like, this guy is such a visionary. Okay, I don't read a lot of philosophers, of philosophical. I read the Bible more than anything. But I remember a quote that Socrates had said about strong minds. Strong minds. He said, weak minds discuss people. Average minds, they discuss events. But strong minds discuss ideas. And that was for Socrates. And I was like, yes, strong minds stay in the future and bring up more ideas and try to improve. And even with this speech that Jaishankar gave and with the speech that Modi gave. Though they sound so simple, they have so much meaning behind it, and I think the world is backing them up. We're standing behind it and standing behind India as well. America stands with them. We stand against this threat of terrorism, and I hope the whole world will join in and join hands. One love, peace. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.